Hey everyone, so I've been tying a number of different Invicta variants for my own boxes lately. So this is a muddler take on the white hackled Invicta. Tied using gull for the wing instead of hen pheasant. I just like this paler type of mottled wing in some of my patterns. I do tie some with the hen pheasant as well to use around sedge time, but I do like this particularly good wing material I find for sea trout. So let's get to tying one of these. So I'm going to use a fulling mill size 10 heavy wet in bronze. Doesn't have to be bronze, but I like the bronze. And using Semperfli classic wax 6.0 in fluorescent red. It's one of my favourites for tying some of the Irish lough flies, style of fly. So I'm just going to come in behind the eye, run the thread down here. So it's up to you whether you want a little fluorescent red tag or butt on this or not. I'm going to put one on this. I'm going to come around the bend a little bit for about 4 or 5 turns, come back up. You get some lacquer here. Just put a drop on that, tiny drop. Don't want too much. Just touch my finger just to, so this doesn't run all over the place. I'm going to get some golden pheasant crest. Pull off a fibre, and then I'm going to strip away all the fluff bits, and you're left with something like this. I'm going to catch that in for the tail. It's about the length of the hook shank. Everybody's different. If it was a bumble, I'd probably go a bit shorter, but for a wet, I don't mind it being about this length. I'm just going to cut it off here at the stem so it doesn't make the stem's starting to get thick there. Just trim it off so that the body's not getting too bulky. I'm going to stop around here just to leave room for a wing and some deer hair head. And then on my way back down, I'm going to get some oval gold, rib. Just catch that in, just keep it underneath as I go down. And trap it in all the ways. Now, I think most Irish lough and sea trout fishers that use Invictus have their own little sort of blend or mix that they like for dubbing the body. I like to use as a mix of yellow seal spur, about 80% yellow and about 20% cowdung. I just like my Invictus to be that little bit dirty, I suppose. So I just mix those two together, and then just take off a pinch. And I'm going to wax that thread, even though it's classic waxed. Just that particular seal fur is it's an old Irish type of seal fur, and it's shiny and slippy. So I can get my seals fur. Just spread it out a little bit, like so, and then I'm going to dub it on. A little bit there, doesn't want to get there now. Just dub that on for your body. Like so. Another tiny pinch. That's about right. I say just leave room for your wing and your other materials. You can use a red game or a brown hackle. I'm going to use a brown cock hackle. I'm going to pick off a fairly long one here. I'm going to strip all that back, and then I'm going to peel away a bit of fluff at the stem. Just going to trim it then, just to leave a little piece for tying in. I'm going to tie it in here, like so. I'll bring my tray back up to it. Don't need a hackle pliers for this. I'll get a second fly out of it, and I need a hackle pliers for that, alright. So I'm giving it 2 turns at the head because I want it a little bit bushy, and I'm going to get about 3.5 to 4 turns down the hook. Trap it in with my oval gold rib, and I'm going to bring that up through the body of the fly. Catch it in here underneath, bring it forward. I like to catch it underneath when I'm doing sort of, I suppose, winged wet flies. Any wire or ribs, I like to try and keep them underneath, just to keep this nice and leveled when it comes to the winging part. Now, it's up to you whether you want to do this or not. I'm just going to give it a little run at the Velcro brush gently because that oval gold, it's not as strong as wire, so I don't want to tear it. So just give it a little, just get that seal fur out through it, like so. One little strand sticking up there. Okay. So just bring that down, like so, and I'm going to get my wing. So I like to use gull on these, just like the whiter effect. So I'm going to pull off a little bit wider than that. So I'm going to measure up my width, like so, and then pull that off. Let's leave it down for a second, and I'll get my opposite side feather, so left and right. I'm going to pull off roughly the same width for the wing, and I'm going to pull that off. Now you can use tweezers and all sorts of things, keep these exactly the same. So what I do is just going to place one of these on top of the other. And I pick this one back up, it fell out of my hand. So there's one on top of the other, like so. Now if one is slightly wider than the other, which they are, you can just pull away the fibers and get them same, right? You can use tweezers and all this stuff, but you don't have to, okay? Oh, I'm just going to wet that and you can see, it's a nice wing. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to trim these bits off now that I have everything lined up. I'm just going to sit that in there. Okay, just sit that in there. Then I'm going to pinch and loop and keep it nice and straight, pull down. I'm going to pinch and loop again, pull down, there's your wing, spot on. Okay, a couple of turns down on that, not too tight at the start. We don't want our wing to twist too much. As I say, you could use hen pheasant if you want as well. One little fibre sticking out there, and maybe one sticking out under there, I think. Now, get our deer hair. Now, if you saw the silver Invicta variant I tied with the deer hair, you'll have seen I used this blue deer belly patch. Now, this is really top quality. Most time people starting off going to a shop to get a piece that looks like this. It's almost like a half a bit near a bucktail part of the deer, and it'll be labelled as deer belly. It says it on the packet here, deer belly hair white, but it's really different by comparison. Okay, so look, what if you have, this is all you have, and that's what I've loads of white deer belly hair, but I see a lot of people starting off, they're going to buy something like this. So how are we going to manage this for the muddler head? So we're going to pull off a nice chunk. Okay, it's not nice and even length like the blue I showed you. Okay, so because of that, I'm going to go with a bit wider chunk than I would if it was the better quality. Okay, pull that off, because I found this and I've loads of white, like I say, but I want to use this just to show that it is usable, but you have to be more careful. Pull out any fluffy bits out of it, okay? Then I'm going to get my comb, and this is really where the comb and the stacker and all those extra tools I find really kind of come into play. So you can see all the dirt, if you like, that's got in that. Right, it's still reasonably even. Okay, on the end here, at the moment, now you can see it's all over the shop at this end. So get your stacker, pinch down hard on your deer hair there, and get it into your stacker. Okay, bang your stacker on the table a whole bunch of times, and then just tilt it nice and level. And there's our deer hair. It's not looking as bad now. I'm going to pinch down on it. And you can see again with this, it's right, and that's the reason I picked out a bigger clump, because there's going to be a lot of waste. Look, still bits that are too short falling out. So, but eventually, a bit of messing about there with it, we get a reasonable clump. So measure up. I want this most of the length of the wing. It's quite a fine hair, and I'm just going to put it in, kind of coming in from my side and just rolling it over the top a slight bit. Okay, and then I pinch down. That just helps bring it around the hook. Then 1, 2, very loose, and then on the third one now I'm going to tighten. Okay, start to tighten down this great thread, this Semperfli. Right, I'm pulling so hard I'm going to have to hold the hook, and then give it another tight turn. Okay, and another tight turn. And now you can see it's really flared. So now what I'm doing, I like to just do this with it and the other bits that are in the way, and bring my thread through it. And this fluorescent red classic waxed thread from Semperfli is actually going to show through that head when the fly is wet, potentially. Okay, and another turn. It's going to make a lovely colourful head on this fly as well. And another turn through it, and then it's going to stroke all these back. Okay, stroke them all back. Mind your fingers when you're doing this. Give it a turn in the front, get another turn in front. And what I'm going to do now is going to put a half hitch in there. Okay, now there's a little trick for you. This is a tiny little hair clip. Okay, you can get them in those little accessories shops. Right, I'm going to put it over my thread. I'm going to slide it down the hook gradually, just nice and gently. It's going to open this hair clip. Okay, and it didn't get all the fibers that time. So what I'm trying to do is just work it along until the last clip of the hair clip is here. Okay, now I don't need to do that with this blue deer here, and I didn't when, if you watched my video I did on the silver Invicta variant, but with this type of hair, right, and look, it's from a different part of a deer's belly or whatever, maybe, you know, but when I say quality, I mean, and just in terms of tying muddler heads as easy as possible. This is a bit tougher for someone starting off to work with compared to something like this. Okay, even the skin is so soft by comparison with this. Okay, like this is soft, but I could nearly snap it, and you'll get some bits, and you actually will be able to like just snap it, snap the skin apart. Anyway, enough about the deer here. This is really handy, keeps everything out of your way, and I have my hitch, so I'm not worried about that. So I'm going to build up my nice colourful head of my, just move this up so you can see maybe a bit more. Build up my nice colourful fluorescent red head with this Semperfli thread here. Okay. Okay, get our half hitch again. Right. Now, we'll get our whip finish tool. This just means, this clip means I don't have to worry as much about trying to hold the deer hair in my fingers while I'm whip finished. Okay. Give it a couple of turns. And there you go. Okay. One piece sticking out. Break it up. Okay. Simple as that. I'm just going to get my lacquer, secure everything. As I say, for anyone starting off. Use your half hitch, use your wax, and there, just using my lacquer. Now it's not going to go anywhere, but not going to do any harm putting the lacquer on first. Okay, so just get your scissors in right tight and trim it off. Now we're ready to trim our muddler. Okay, so remove our clip. Now normally I would remove this from the vise to do this, but I'll try to do it here again just to show you. So I'm coming in at an angle off of the head of the fly. And trim. And trim. So I want this angle all the way around really. Just going to rotate the vise here and trim. If I get, you know, 80-90% in the first rotation here, I'm quite happy. So, and I'm just catching those. That's the one advantage of that long deer here, is you can grip it. Okay, come in there again at an angle. Okay, I say I won't get all of it the first time around. I'll get most of it. If I need to, I could take it out of the vise, but I'll try and do it all while it's in the vise for you. It's not how I'd normally do it, but so I'm going to do it this time. Okay, there's a straggler there. I say, just so you guys can see what I'm doing here. Now, just give this a little rub of the scissors, because little bits that you cut when you're doing it in a vise like this, they'll fall down and you'll end up trying to cut a piece that's already been cut off the fly if you're not careful. Like that there, it's a typical one. So I'm just going to do any like final trims. So, one is round. So take your time when you're doing that. I'll often leave them to one side and come back and have another little trim at them. It's not too bad now. You can see your wing and you can get your deer hair head. Just try and set this vise for you. And there you have your Invicta muddler variant.